Okay, so we're going to discuss the management plan now. So the management plan is a section of the business plan, and first we're going to discuss this question. Which is better, an A team with a B idea or a B team with an A idea? And here we're saying, A is really good, B not as good. So what's more important? Is it the team or the idea? I think a lot of times when people think about business, they think the idea is the most important. But in fact, many investors, probably most investors that deal with high growth companies, even though they're innovative and everything, they believe that having an A team with a B idea is better than a B team with an A idea. And there's many reasons for this. One is that a lot of it is just about execution. You have to be able to execute. And you got to have an A team for that. And another reason is that you start off with one idea and one approach, and that may change later. So the idea might actually not be what you think what it eventually will be. So management plan is a very important, maybe the most important part of the plan, even though the way we structure it, it's coming in the second half. So I want you to think about this, and unfortunately we don't have time to really develop these ideas of interpersonal dynamics. But I want you to think about what's the best team experience you had, and what's the worst team experience, and then maybe who's someone who's helped you most professionally. Pause the video, just think about that for a second. The reason I wanted you to think about these three questions is you do need to consider this if you ever want to do a startup. A lot of, or a new business, a lot of what will happen in the company will depend on who's on your team. And who's on your team from the beginning may determine whether it's one of your best team experiences or your worst. And I want you to think about who's helped you most professionally, because you really do continue to need help. So what does the management plan look like? Well, you need to list the names and probably pictures of the key founders and employees. And so I want you to be realistic in your business plan. You're doing this as a group in the class, but you do not need to list everyone's name from the group on the plan. In reality, that's not realistic. So if it's one person's idea, put down what is actually true. Obviously, you don't want to have a bunch of founders if not everyone's actually really contributing. Now, if organizational structure is important and you need a figure, you could put a figure on that. Although most of the time I think that the figures that people use for organizational structure, some hierarchy, they don't really add that much value. As I said before, you want to think about, you do need help. Especially if you're young, you lack experience, you need to have advisors that can help you. You can click on this link here to a nice article about how to find mentors and friends, professional contacts, advisors. I think it's relevant for how to build a company. But definitely any weaknesses that you have in your experience, because again, the point of the management section is to indicate that you can actually execute on this plan. Any weaknesses you need to address by having advisors that have more experience or the experience that you don't have. They can give feedback on the plans, and if they're well known and they're credible, they can be a signal that your idea is good, because if they're willing to be an advisor on your plan, that will tell other people that don't know all the details that, okay, maybe this idea is pretty good. Most of the time when we start a company, we don't have everybody that we need. We know that we'll need to hire somebody else, so you need to put any plans for specific hires in there, when you'll need them, why, and who. As you're building out your management plan, I think it's helpful to think of, if you had a dream team, like the perfect team to build this idea into a company, who would be on that team? And then you're going to try to write your management plan so that you can say you're close to that dream team, and then you're going to get help from other people to get even closer to what the dream team would be. Obviously, if you have an idea and you don't really bring anything to the table in regards to being able to make that idea work, you're not part of the dream team. So you have to be realistic, but also figure out how to get additional people that can make your team the dream team. So, and we talk about diversity. That's one of the benefits of having other people involved, is that they give you additional understanding. So the technical term is functional variety. So you need to have people that know how to do different types of functions to be able to get the job done. But you also have to be careful that sometimes if you have multiple subgroups within a team, especially if you have a bigger team, that can create kind of fault lines so that you have conflict. So you have to weigh the benefits of information processing, so getting new and different types of information from different people, and the potential problems of conflict. As I said before, charts can help to show who's doing who needs to be hired, how outsourcing is going to be done. Just think about your individual idea of whether that actually is needed. And you can talk about culture if that's really important to your business, how you're going to build that culture, the rewards and incentives, how you're going to make it so that whatever culture is important for you thrives. Now I'm going to give you a couple examples, which I think hopefully will be helpful for you. These examples come from an equity crowdfunding website, basically companies that are trying to get funding. I've signed up on this website. It's called MicroVentures. I just wanted to show you this. Now, they don't give a full business plan, but the reason I'm showing you this is, you can just kind of see it. I like that it's kind of a condensed business plan. Looks very similar to what you would do in our business plans. Here they show what they're going to use their money for, their business model, how their income and expenses will go, their net income. The reason I'm showing this to you, though, I think it's a pretty good example of using graphics and stuff. But this is one example of they're showing their founders, so they have a little picture here, a little bit of a background, and obviously this person has a lot of experience. So this person seems to have quite a bit of experience too as a creative director. And they bring in some other people. So they have 5 people on their team. They explain their specific, what they bring specifically to the company. And then they also have some advisors. Okay, so these are people that bring legitimacy. They show that this is a good idea, and they can help the team do what they need to do. So I give you that one example. Here, let's look at another one here from the same website, MicroVentures. This is a different business idea. And let's see, this is an app. You can see, I like that they show the app here. They use figures. This is something you should be doing in your business plan. They use figures to show sales and expenses I like this little graphic here. That looks nice. Okay, so let's go down to... Okay, so again, here they show the CEO and founder, some of his experience explaining. This looks nice. You know, these pictures look nice. It looks professional. So there's 1, 2, 3 founders, and they don't show an advisor. Okay? Not sure exactly why, but that's their executive team. So your business plan should look kind of similar. You should have a section where you're talking about these things. You may or may not put, the structure in, your future hires that are needed. You might need to explain that. And as they've done here, the advisors. So that's it for management plan.